Coach, thanks. CA Sports coverage of the NFL brings us to the Inner Harbor and M&T Bank Stadium here in Baltimore, Maryland. The scene a few moments ago, here it is. It's unlike any other in sport as both teams made their way out of the tunnel. These folks are fired up as their guys are ready to do battle between the San Francisco 49ers and the Baltimore Ravens. And this will not be returnable. It's out of the back of the end zone for a touchback. Garoppolo going to bring the Niners up here 1st and 10.
21.
Now the Georgia Southern man. This is Jerick McKinnon. And he's taken down but able to slip across the 35. A gain of 11 to kick off the drive, and it's a quick first down.
And there we see an early burst that makes him one of the leading rushers in the league.
Well, I want you to know, I listened to you yesterday when we were watching film. You said write down the word vision for him. It was on display there, wasn't it?
It certainly was, because he allows the blocks to set up in front of him. And if that continues, it could be a long afternoon for those guys trying to play some defense.
4 yards on that last completion, so that sets up 2nd and 6. On the toss, it's McKinnon. And he'll lose yardage on the play back at the 37-yard line. They'll wind up losing 3. And now it's 3rd down.
An interesting and intriguing decision there defensively because they kept extra DBs on the field despite seeing the multiple tight end look that came out for the offense.
I thought they were going to switch out of it. I didn't know if they felt they didn't have time or what the case was.
Well, in any event, the extra speed allowed for great penetration as they stuffed that one behind the line of scrimmage.
He completes it to Bryant. And he'll be taken down, but not before he works it past the 50. His first catch, good for 14 there and a first down. So in Raven territory now, here's a 1st and 10 at the 49-yard line. From the gun, it's Garoppolo. Being chased out left. Into heavy traffic, and it's intercepted. Picked off by Sidney Jones. Last week, somehow they won. He threw all those picks, but they still won. Here, opening drive, unfortunately, he picked up where he left off.
Partner, you get a lot of extra patience when you find a way to win despite you making mistakes. But starting out again this game, that patience is going to wear thin really quick. And I think the guys on the defensive side of the ball will be the first ones to let him know that's got to stop.
And he'll get this up past the 45 to the 47. He'll get a nice chunk there on the first down run, and it's 2nd and 4.
Detroit! Detroit! Gone!
Now Jackson on 2nd down. And incomplete there. A nice hit. Jars the ball free and brings up 3rd down.
The beauty of being able to play a zone defense when you can sit back and see the ball coming out of the quarterback's hands, guess what? Creates a lot of confusion, kind of a muddle in the middle of the field where you go make a play on the football.
Oh, a scrap for the football, and he's going to come down with it. They get 14 on that one. That's good for a Baltimore first down. After getting that turnover on the first drive of the game, you'd hate to just stall out the momentum, go 3 and out. They're able to avoid that there.
Yeah, we talk about complementary football all the time, but I think it's a little bit deeper than that. Defense went out, forced a turnover, gave the ball to the offense. It's now the offense's responsibility to pay.
And he fires one that's intercepted. Reuben Foster picks it. He had a little bit of the turnover bug last week, 3 interceptions. Not an absolute disaster, but another one here. Do you start to get a little worried?
You worry about your team as a whole because you have to find a way to make those interceptions, quote-unquote, go away, and that means your defense. They've got to go out there on sudden change and at least hold people to field goals. And if that keeps happening, they lose confidence in the quarterback, and then no one plays well.
And they'll get this one to about the 20-yard line. A nice pickup there of 11 yards, and it'll move the sticks.
And that's a run that'll energize an offensive line. They'll take that one all day long. Fundamental breakdown by the defense. You've got to be able to make plays on the edge.
And Bryant's got it over the middle. A good pickup there. 8 yards on the first down completion.
Nothing fancy on first down, but a very consistent type of a play. Hit that slant, A lot of people call it an extension of the running game, and it can be if that pass is completed, because you hit a guy on the run like that, he often can go for big yardage.
Sets him up nicely for second down, staying ahead of schedule. Here's McKinnon. And he's able to work it here to the 8-yard line. It's a 3-yard pickup, and that sets up a first and goal.
Not too many more ideal situations than 2nd and 2 in order to try and pick up a first down. They ran it and picked it up.
They'll try and run for it on first and goal. And they'll be driven back here, losing yardage to the 10-yard line. That's going to go as a loss of a yard, and it'll be second down. Garoppolo to throw on second down. Into heavy traffic, and it's intercepted. Picked off by Tavon Young. It's a foot race. He's at the 30. And a great return here gets this one all the way down to the 26-yard line.
So that's back-to-back drives where they've thrown an interception. Ordinarily, we look at the offense and say, what's going on with your scheme? Maybe we should look at the defense and just give them a whole lot of credit. They've got them frustrated right now.
After the interception, here's Jackson going for it all. And this is caught. Touchdown, Baltimore. Keith Marshall, his 5th touchdown now on the year. And the Ravens have taken the early lead. And the Ravens lead at 7-0. Here's Tucker now out to kick this one away. And San Francisco gets set to go here. And it's been a miserable start for them offensively, obviously. 2 drives, 2 interceptions.
And this is where you have to know your quarterback and know how you actually have to reach him. Do you do it with a little bit of humor? Maybe you break the ice a little bit like, hey, didn't we practice in that colored jersey all week, not the one that you're throwing it to? Or maybe you have to be stern with him. But whatever it's going to take to get the message, it has to be done. He's putting the game in jeopardy.
Trying to shake off the interception. He'll look to throw.
I spent a lot of extra time preparing for this game watching this offensive line because they gave up 5 sacks last week in their loss. They just gave up another one now. They don't seem to be working together as a cohesive unit. Right? 4 guys might have it right, but the 5th guy is giving something up. They've got to find a way to all get on the same page.
And way up past the 35 before he's taken down. Garcon with his first grab, good enough for a first down. So here's a 1st and 10 at the 38.
21.
They go play action here on first down. They'll roll him out right. And it's knocked away and incomplete. Trying to get it there to Martavis Bryant. And it's second down.
Another dangerous throw there, partner. I mean, he's already thrown 2 interceptions here in the first half. I don't know if you want to keep throwing up 50-50 balls, and you've had that kind of lack of success.
Yeah, absolutely. Very well could have been a 3rd interception in half number 1. Back to the air on second. It's Garoppolo. And the Raven pressure too much. Down he goes. You never want to give up a sack. And from the O-line's perspective, they hate it for several reasons, especially because they felt like they let little brother down back there in the pocket.
Oh, no doubt. They have a ton of pride, and they go into every job wanting to keep that guy clean. They want that uniform with no grass stains, no dirt, nothing on it, but it's really, really difficult. You talk about...
And he's going to go down again. And that is the 3rd sack this offensive line has allowed this first quarter.
Yeah, that puts him on pace. Let me do the rudimentary math here. To be sacked 12 times in a game, I know he's not going to go for that. I wonder if it's going to reshape what they decide to do on offense in terms of play calling.
Well, I can tell you what, when he popped up, shaking his head, frustrated right now behind center. Officially just 27 yards there on the punt. And this offense will take over right at the midfield stripe with a 1st and 10. Around the NFL, an update from a game going on down in Tampa. And the Bucs are out to an early lead. We'll keep you updated on that one as it progresses. Now a play fake here on first down. He's going to loft one deep left side here. And all the way in for a Ravens touchdown. A big play there. His first touchdown of the new season. And the Ravens will add on to their lead. And he's got it up and through. Here's Tucker now out to kick this one away. And that'll carry over the back line of the end zone for a touchback. And the 49ers getting set to trot out there. Already down 2 touchdowns here in the first half. This becomes a pretty important drive, doesn't it?
It certainly does, and a lot of the teams script plays. We know that, right? They have a script to start the ball game, and typically those scripts go between 12 and 24, 25 plays. Down 2 touchdowns early, probably not very deep into their script. I think that they'll stay with it. I don't think they'll abandon it just yet and try and generate some offense on this drive.
Anything. At least 3 points, get that 0 off the board. And he's brought down after a very nice gain. A really nice gain of 25 yards. From midfield, here's Garoppolo. A dump down to McKinnon. And he'll be taken down at the 44-yard line. It's a gain of 6 on the play, and it'll make it 2nd down.
So many times you hear today's NFL described as a space game. Get your best players into space with the football in their hands. That's why sometimes you just swing it out to your runner, get him out in the flat, and let him have a chance to make people miss an open field.
Garoppolo. Second quarter now. Brandon Gaudin, Charles Davis with you. It's the 49ers in control of the football. They're on the march, but facing a 3rd down here. And yet again, it's Garoppolo. Buying time to his left. And he'll avoid the tackle there with a slide. A good decision in the end to pull it and run, get some 9 yards and a first.
We just saw a nice example of why teams often bring in baseball guys to teach quarterbacks how to slide in key situations. You want to protect your franchise guy. Make sure he doesn't get hurt. He did exactly that on that play. A perfect slide to avoid the big hit and pick up a first down.
7 yards, the pickup on the pitch and catch.
One thing you're hoping for when you run drag routes, you're able to hit a receiver in stride, and he can pick up a lot of yardage after the catch. But in this situation, the defense was effective, able to stop him before he could get a good head of steam going.
They get 5 out of that one, and it moves the chains.
Exactly what they needed right there, because they needed to use the ground game to take some pressure off, because the quarterback's been struggling a little bit.
This offense finding its legs now. Here's another 1st and 10.
21.
On 1st down, Garoppolo. And for the 3rd time here in this half, it's intercepted. Picked off at the 15. He's at the 50. The 40. 20. 10. And he will score. Touchdown, Baltimore.
Partner, what we just saw, that's a great example of a team that's really amped up. They've been playing so well, yet they didn't get overexcited and have a bust on defense and gave up a big play. Instead, they created their own big play with a pick 6. This one may be over.
Yeah, it's just the first half, but that lead has swelled to the point where you're wondering if it is over already. Here's Dante Pettis on the return. And this return net's positive as he gets past the 25 and up to the 27-yard line. The 49ers offense now, they get set to head back on the field. And some dangerous territory. You're already down 3 scores. A 3-and-out here or an inability to put any points up. This one might be over by half.
Yeah, and what you also have to guard against is calling every play for a big shot downfield. You know, thinking you're going to get all these points back on one drive. You're not. And last time I looked, it's still the first half. I'm not saying you have ultimate patience here, but you also don't have to go ahead and force everything either.
Now Garoppolo to try again after the pick 6. Flushed out right. Now he's going to let it go deep right sideline. That's going to be knocked away and incomplete. Jonathan Jones that time, the one who got a hand in, knocked it away.
Well, I guess that answers the question whether or not they want him throwing it again right away after throwing the pick 6 on the previous drive.
Yeah, not something conservative or underneath. Pretty big shot right there.
Get him right back in the saddle and said, go ahead and sling it, big guy.
Garoppolo to try again on 2nd down. Out left side here to Bryant. And he'll get it up to the 33-yard line. 6 yards is the pickup, and that'll lead to a third down.
I always laugh when people say, what's the toughest route to defend? And I'm like, any of them, especially if it's a good receiver. That makes things very difficult. But when you're running a drag route, something short, shallow, going through defenders, using guys almost as screens in order to get open, that makes things tough for guys trying to get to the football.
Now Garoppolo. And he goes down. The Ravens able to get to him. A rough couple of weeks for the man under center. 5 sacks last week, 4 now this week. Do you try to design some quicker developing plays if you're an offensive coordinator?
I think you do that. I think you also change his launch point at times. In other words, move your pocket to the right, to the left, roll him out, bootleg it. Do some different things so they can't just rely on the fact that he's going to take 3 to 5 steps back in the pocket and line up and throw the football.
Yeah, current formula is not working right now. The Ravens offense now, they get ready to head back on the field. They are just putting things together so well here, drive after drive. They really have captured the momentum, haven't they?
They've taken momentum and pretty much not just give him a jersey, but a seat on the bench as well. Whatever do you need, you've got it, because the way they're stringing things together and creating that distance between them and their opponent, it's really hard to narrow that gap. And the other part is they're taking their spirit away from them, too.
Yeah, now they're just looking to add to that total. A first carry now for Alex Collins. And he'll push this forward only to about the 42-yard line. A tackle that time by Akella Witherspoon.
Well, we saw him there trying to get it to the outside, trying to get to the perimeter, but not a whole lot of room there. But there's got to be one positive to that. If you keep moving laterally, creases tend to develop as the game moves on, and they can run it back inside later.
And he is met in his tracks behind the line of scrimmage. They'll lose a yard, and it brings up third.
Doubling this guy has to be a priority before moving up to the next level, because the big fella, he just ate that one alive, just stuffed it. In fact, before the game, he was talking to us, and he's like, hey, these pants make me look fat. And we said, nah, man, you're just a whole lot of guy.
He is at well over 300 pounds. He's a big man. Wide open receiver complete. And 21 yards there as they convert on third.
The goal for any offense versus his own defense, find the holes where guys are available and put the ball on the receiver before any defender can step up and fill it.
They did it well there. Perfectly executed crossing route. And the play goes nowhere. Losing yardage back near the 40 at the 39. It's a loss of a yard there, and now second down. That pass play wound up for negative yardage, so here's second and 11. From the gun, Jackson. He's going to launch this thing way downfield. And this is caught inside the 5. So a minute 55 to go in the first half. We're back to Baltimore after this. A chance to really cap off a big first half here as they come up on first and goal. They'll try to run it in with Marshall. And he'll get in. Touchdown, Baltimore. Keith Marshall with his second touchdown here in this first half. And the Ravens will extend their lead. And he's been a busy man, 5 for 5 now as he knocks another one through to extend the lead. Here's Tucker now out to kick this one away. This is fielded a couple yards deep. The 49er offense now making their way out onto the field. Typically down in the first half, I might say, oh, you at least need a field goal out of this drive, but they're down to the point where they need a touchdown, don't they?
Yeah, normally, you know me. I mean, you've been around me for a while now, right?
Unfortunately.
I'm sorry about that. But normally, I'm the one preaching patience.
Yeah.
You know, take your time. First half, you still got a chance. I think they're out of patience here. This has to be a drive that gets a touchdown. So if you're the play caller, you're going to that portion of the sheet that says big-time plays, specials, anything you can use to get yourself back into it.
On play action, now Garoppolo. Nowhere to go here. He lost the football, and the Ravens have got it. The pocket collapsed around him. I know we talk about it a lot, but a QB has to have that sixth sense, doesn't it?
He really does, and I know of one team at one point was training their quarterback with that time frame, and anytime he didn't get rid of the ball within the right amount of time, they would blow a horn or blow a whistle to show him this is what that time is, just what you're talking about, training him to understand this is the amount you have, make sure the ball's gone. Didn't happen in this case.
Throwing to start the drive, but that one incomplete. On second down, Collins. And this carry terminated at the 8-yard line. Good stick skill showing the power, but just not much room to operate. Second down, a little more productive than first. 7 yards on the gain. It gets him to 3rd and 3 now. Now Marshall. And he'll be taken down, but he does have first down yardage. They're able to convert on third down, and that sets up a 1st and goal.
A lot depended on the spot there, and he got it, but it wasn't by much, was it? I remember Coach Madden talking about, depending on which foot the official used, that would tell you whether you got the first down or not. You want that upfield foot to be the one that spots the ball, don't you?
And you and I have the luxury of a couple extra views here in the booth, and he did get it, but not by much. Back at the 5-yard line now, 2nd and goal.
Gone! All right, now, lucky 56. Lucky 56.
And now Jackson will look to throw it. Escaping the pressure right. And he will score. Touchdown, Baltimore. Lamar Jackson on his way to a monster game. 3 first-half touchdowns. And the Ravens add on. And he puts it through. Here's Tucker now out to kick this one away. Fielded about a yard deep. And he will be marked down right there at the 20-yard line. The 49ers offense now, they work their way back onto the field. And what do you think goes on here in this situation? If you got the football, you're trailing, you're back in your own territory with just a little time. Do you try something?
You're thinking about jump-starting your team, right? You just mentioned it. They're down. They're trying to get back into the game. But you got to figure, if something goes wrong, you may have put yourself in a spot where you may not be able to come back in the second half. Managing risk, this is a big decision here.
Now Garoppolo throwing on second. And that one almost intercepted. Far too loose with the football here. Nearly a 4th pick. And it's 3rd down. The Niners on 3rd down. They've hit 2 for 4 thus far. This will be 3rd and 6. Toss play to McKinnon. And this one goes nowhere. Losing yardage back at the 22. That'll make it 4th down after a loss of 1.
I like the strategy. Extra tight ends, extra beef. They want to run the football, but that means they probably want to run it inside. If you get strung out on the perimeter, you're in peril.
Yeah, we saw the result, negative yardage. And how about this line out of the locker room? An onside kick attempt. The Ravens ready to receive it, and they've got the lead as well as we resume play in the second half. A very interesting call and one that backfires. I know they're losing, Charles, but boy, to start the second half with the onside kick, risky.
Felt like a sense of urgency from their side, coupled with, you and I both know the special teams coordinators, they sell their key plays each and every week to the head coach, don't they? And I'll guarantee he's been selling this one. We can get it, coach, we can get it. And that came together with that sense of urgency you talked about. They tried a quick hitter inside, but that one was swallowed up because what they're hoping, those big defensive linemen will take the bait and move laterally and open up a crease that they can run through. Didn't happen on that play.
This is Marshall. And he'll get it down on the play to the 37. It's a 9-yard gain, and it keeps the drive moving.
They're trying to show that they can run the ball and protect this lead. Give it to the backs, play a little bit of keep away, don't you think?
And that's probably a good philosophy at this point, going to make that defense stand up and stop them. Line of scrimmage, the 37 on 1st and 10. Now Jackson on 1st down. Oh, he's got a man wide open. complete. And all the way inside the 15 before they drop it. 23 yards on the play. They'll run it now out of the gun. And effective running here. He'll take it down inside the 10. It's a 6-yard pickup, and it gets him to 2nd and 4.
Third quarter, and you've got the lead. You're not ready to go into that 4-minute offense to close the game out, but a running game can really benefit your team right now.
They stay on the ground. This is Marshall again. Flashed a nifty move, but they'll drop him at the 5-yard line. A 3-yard pickup on 2nd and 4. Now they'll need to convert here on 3rd and a little more than a yard. Now it's Jackson. And he is into the end zone for a Baltimore touchdown. Hayden Hurst, his 2nd touchdown on the season. And the Ravens continue to pour it on. Well, it was 3rd and 1. I was expecting runs.